Hi! You may have clicked because you are interested in learning the violin and want to start violin lessons. Or are you wondering which is the best to do, rent or buy your child's first violin? Are you looking for violin sizing information or lesson rates? How often should you practice your new violin as a beginner? I'll answer everything I can from where I'm at as an intermediate professional violinist. I started violin lessons at 9 years old in elementary school and kept practicing and playing in orchestras through middle and high school. This has brought me current opportunities to play in the community, for wedding ceremonies, and teach violin lessons in a private elementary school. If you're looking to start your son or daughter on the violin, do it. It's an excellent idea. Music has been proven to benefit learning in general, and it's fun. Practicing regularly is not fun for kids, but once you implement and encourage a regular schedule, they won't think twice about wanting to practice or not. They will just do it. I teach many young students under 9 years old, and often they say they don't practice. I think this will be common among younger ages. But if practicing is required right when they start violin, and students make it a part of the daily routine and set aside time after a certain activity, then practicing gets done. This way, parents and students won't worry about forgetting to practice or even how long the student practices. There should be a set amount of time every day for practice so the student doesn't just stop when they want. Practicing is important for any instrument. I would say 15 to 20 minutes every day minimum for a young violinist. For 9 years and older, increase to 30 minutes to an hour or more per day. If you keep consistent, you are sure to get excellent results and move fast through lessons with your teacher and the books that the teacher assigns. To start violin lessons, you will need a violin right away. I would suggest to rent at first. Renting for a year from a violin shop is the best way to go. Renting from a school can be okay too, and cheaper. From a music store, however, you will benefit from better violins, free repair, and some shops even put some of your rental payments into your future purchase of a violin. I would not suggest to buy a violin online. Many violins online will come with a case, bow, and much more and will seem like a deal, but it can be really too cheap and they will not tune right and or sound terrible. You will want something that will play well from a local violin shop. If the violin plays terrible sound, like a $35 to $99 violin you can buy online, it will most certainly discourage a beginner, who then will most likely not continue. Violins come in sizes. Some violins are small enough to fit a 2 or 3-year-old. If your child is this age and you want them to start violin, size 1/16 is the smallest. The biggest size the violin comes in is a full size, or 4/4. These are for adults, or for about 9 years and up. Here's the sizing chart. It's approximate. Some students are taller than others and have longer arms. Ask your teacher, or most likely the violin shop you rent from, to size the violin for the student. It is best to take the student with you and size in person, as opposed to just picking up a violin from the shop for your child no matter how old. Lesson rates start as low as about $10 per half-hour lesson. They can go up to about $75 or so per half-hour lesson. I wouldn't suggest this high amount for beginner students, as the higher the teacher's rate is, usually the more professional and accomplished they are, and are more likely to work with students who are older and at a higher skill level. The teachers with these rates may have little to no experience teaching young students 9 years or younger. 30-minute, for beginner students, up to 2-hour lessons are typically once per week. So, what will you practice once you get your violin and have a first lesson? Practice what your teacher assigns for the week, the homework that is given, and play through the current piece or song you're working on. In my opinion, good teachers will show you how to practice, and if they don't, ask them. Repeat, repeat, repeat is often the solution. This is great and a must, but it does get tiring, especially for young students. So, I advise my students at the end of practicing to play something fun. Have in mind something that you want to play and ask the teacher to help you with it in the lesson. Play the fun piece at the end of practice time. Then, at the end of practicing, you will end on a good note. No pun intended. I've talked a lot about practicing. It's really key to learning any instrument. If you are a parent of a young beginner, I would suggest you sit in on your child's lesson and take notes. Become an active parent, as many Suzuki schools around the world encourage. Suzuki schools use the Suzuki method to teach violin, which is very strict and very good. Suzuki is widely known, and you may hear your violin teacher mention him or give a Suzuki book to your young violinist. I teach out of the Suzuki books myself because I learned from them growing up. However, I was never taught the Suzuki method. The Suzuki method typically starts young children playing the violin from age 3. Thanks for listening. I'm sure you will do great at your first lesson, or if you've already started, keep it up and don't give up.